All right, Nation. All right, Trojan fans. Do you know what a lash lift is? I don't know what that is. I can tell you what a pin and pull is. I can tell you what a cover two defense is, but I don't know what that is. But you know who knows what that is? Your girl. So your significant other, your wife, your fiance, they know what that is. So why don't you go to Instagram, go to Christine's Beauty Bar, check out Christine's Beauty Bar on Instagram. Promo code right on the bottom, PORSBR, and get 20% off her services. That she will take care of that part of it, and then you can sit down and watch the game. You can watch the new college football season. You can watch the new NFL season. You can watch the baseball playoffs. All those things, and she will be happy. You will be happy, and then when the appointment's over and the game's over, y'all can come together, go have a nice dinner out on the beach, rooftop bars. Those things are big in Southern California. So check out Christine's Beauty Bar on Instagram. Make an appointment. She'll take care of your significant other in every way, facial, all that stuff like that, and then she'll get that lash lift. I don't know where it is. Like I said, I don't know where it is, but I can guarantee you that your girl does.
Caught into two, race at the one. Wow, what a miraculous grab by Brendan Nice.
Look how much time Caleb Williams bought on that play. If we can get a stopwatch at some point.
Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Welcome everybody to the latest episode of Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas. As always, I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle. By the time this show airs, it'll be 20 days until USC faces the LSU Tigers out of the Southeastern Conference, and everybody's excited about that. So we'll see all the details, everything coming from fall camp. Must be weird to cover that team because you can't even comment on what you see out of fall camp, which is really interesting. We have Coach B here as well. We'll talk about USC football. You know the hat. You know who's coming through with some really good football knowledge here. As we get closer and closer to the season for your USC Trojans. Fall camp. You have the radio communication that's going to be there now for players and coaches. I think Arnold is going to be wearing the one for the offense, and then obviously Merrill Moss for the defense, and then Merrill Moss for the offense. I think they're also working on other players just in case AME goes down. They have somebody else who can come in and do all that stuff, but. You think about the importance of it because it's like, am I correct? Like every level of football, so for college football, was using this. Like everybody else is like.
Well, high school wasn't.
High school wasn't. Okay.
High school wasn't. It had. They were trying it in high school during during the playoff season.
Yeah,
they were thinking about trying it, but they weren't using it on that level. Where
do some like huge programs like Bishop Gorman, people like that, or do they use it?
Well, they did it during the playoffs. They tried it during the playoffs. They thought they could use it during the playoffs. I mean, that's a money play, right? And if it goes to high school level, that's going to be what high schools can afford that kind of technology to put in that, and there's not going to be a lot.
Yeah,
honestly, it's not. You know what I mean? Just having coached on the high school level, seeing what the politics is behind the money there. Believe me, they have a hard enough time getting a third jersey.
Wait. Politics and youth sports? No way.
No, they got a hard enough. Like I said, they got a hard enough time trying to figure out the money for a third uniform, let alone trying to put some. I mean, I remember being on the sidelines a lot of times. We didn't even have headsets to communicate with the booth. You know what I mean? We had a guy that would come down every quarter and give us his notes of what he's seen. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and you can't use phones or nothing like that too. So that's crazy. But what are your thoughts about being used in the college game right now? Because I know this is the first year.
I think it's going to be helpful. I think it's going to be huge to offensive guys, right?
Yeah.
Your offensive minds is going to be huge, and you're also going to see. I think it's going to help out with the offensive guys that we don't know yet, right? There's going to be some offenses that are going to take a step, and this is going to be the reason, and they're going to be called offensive geniuses. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of more offensive guys get head coaching jobs because of this, because their offenses are going to take a step in which we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, and it shuts off at like 11 seconds on the play clock or something
I
like
think
that.
it's 11 I think it's 15.
15 seconds. 15 seconds. So,
like
yeah,
the NFL's 15 seconds.
Yeah, 15 seconds. So you have so you have that. I think it's a good thing. I mean, if anything else, it gets you ready for the league. So I mean, the league is all about that. So if whether you play offense or defense, it's a good move to have that. There's been a call out from Lincoln Riley, and maybe some other people about having a governing body in college football, like a commissioner's office or whatever. And I think a couple of things with that. Don't hold your breath for that to happen. Number one. Number two, like these conferences run the world. They run college football. So, like, back in the day when football started, you had, people, I think it was the Giants and some of the other organizations, they just said, hey, it's better for the league for us to have an NFL, one NFL have an AFC. The Mayor family, the AFC, and NFC, right? They're not going to, I just don't see the Big Ten, SEC doing that. What are your thoughts about having a governing body? Because I just feel like they have all the power and they're getting all the money from the networks themselves. Like, what would be the impetus for them to do that?
Well, it's like, what's the point? We've seen that before and we failed at it, right? We had the NCAA governing body and we failed at it, right? Punishments disproportionate. You know what I mean? Couldn't overrule it. Couldn't, you could appeal it, but it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Because that's what it boils down to. It boils down to the punishments. It doesn't boil down to anything else. So what difference does it make? And then I think you have to cut out, in my opinion, you got to shrink this pool too. If you're going to have a governing body, I don't want a governing body over 119 schools. Give me the governing body over the 67 schools, that are in these conferences, in these power conferences. That's what you want a governing body on? That's cool.
Yeah.
Fine. But dude, I don't want a governing body over 119 schools because these, like I said, these the disciplines, the disciplinary actions are not proportionate from one big school to the next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're just not. And you can look across college football. You can look back to Reggie Bush. I remember Tennessee got a slap on the wrist and people are like, oh no, we lost the whole season. Yeah, but it was a losing season. So you lost a full losing season. The coach was happy to lose that season of games that he lost.
Yes, yeah. Makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like what difference does it make? Instead, you dock USC, Reggie. Well, we had to go through this whole fiasco, and I keep saying that. Like again, like so, and then like I said, we've already had the NCAA, and nobody likes them. Not even the commissioners of the conference like them. And most people will say, well, that's good they don't like them because that makes them even. No, because now all these commissioners have gotten together and pushed them out.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're leading down. We're gonna bring back another governing body and lead down the same path. Yeah,
I mean, I think what people are trying to do too is like, college football is not going to be the NFL. Like, it's not going to get to that point. It just isn't. It really isn't. So I think people need to stop kind of forcing that issue. And I think, I think part of it is like, I think it was Conor Morissette was talking about how he wanted. I think he feels like Lincoln Riley wants to have a governing body, so the sport is about X's and O's, and then he feels like he can beat people with X's and O's, opposed to like just going out with the free market, go do whatever, go spend all the money, whatever, and that's something that is who knows that's going to happen. I think the scholarship situation too is that. You have a situation where the scholarships are, if Georgia has a scholarship and they have like a little salary cap situation, and USC has a scholarship, well, those scholarships aren't equal because it costs way more to go to USC than it goes to Georgia or Florida State or some of those schools. So how do they even that out as well?
That's the nature of doing business, though. I can't be mad at that. That's
No, I agree.
We have an elite program. We have an elite school. I'm not mad at that. Not at all. Right? Because at this point, I'm not putting the money on the price of our academics. Because as soon as we start talking about NIL, these kids are not here for academics.
Yeah.
So we got to take the academics out of it, in my opinion. Yeah, we have a cap. To me, all caps should be different based on how much it costs you to go to school.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a cap based on, everybody shouldn't have the same cap.
Exactly.
Because it costs more for me to go to school than it costs for you to go to school.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And yeah, if you get like a partial, it's still going to cost you a lot more. I mean, you pay way more to go to school at the USC than and then Ohio State or any other situations. So bad luck for Malachi Crawford. I feel bad for him. Second year in a row, guy hurt. So hopefully he can come back for a third and get on the field next year, because that's just a nightmare for him. I feel bad for him. We talked about defensive tackle. We talked about USC needing a defensive tackle.
Right.
Did we happen to find one in house? Like, is Kobe Pepe is Kobe Pepe going to be a guy who can just eat up some blocks to get number 90 freed up to go do some things? I mean, he's getting, these games are there, that everybody's talking about, and you have a situation where, like, if he can come do that, that would be something that would really give them a big boost as far as having an in-house candidate to help with this defensive line.
Well, I think we're leaning on coaching at this point. We're leaning on all our coaching.
Yeah.
Right. I believe that's what we're doing. I believe we have a defensive line coach that's here. That's made guys, right?
Yeah.
And he's so I believe that's what we're doing. And I'm gonna fall on that until it fails. I can see if we were bringing in a guy, an unknown college guy, then I would be overly panicked.
Yeah.
But because we're bringing in a proven NFL guy that has proven his worth on that level, I don't see how. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, no
and that's kind of where I'm at. Would I like one? Yes, but clearly they're giving him the benefit of the doubt, so I'm going to also.
Yeah, and I think when I look at that, and you talk, and you coach football for a long time now, I think he talks about the dog work and all stuff like that, but it really is the dirtiest job in all of football. Like, what I mean? Like, what you got to do with dealing with offensive linemen, dealing with people chipping you, all stuff like that, and your job a lot of times is there's not a lot of joy, not a lot of gratitude with it, because you're in a situation where you're just there to eat up a couple blocks so that your linebackers, your pass rushers can go get there, can go eat. The only people who really appreciate what you do a lot of times is the coach, is a guy like Henderson, right? So, like, I mean, so that's gonna be the thing. That can he hold up and do that? We'll see. Hopefully he can. But I mean, I think Nikolai also alluded to Cardell Jones being a guy who can play early. I think that I think some of the guys will play early. The depth is going to be tested on both of these offensive and defensive lines. No question about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what we're going to win at. That's what we got to win at, right? We got to win there. Early, we don't have to win. At least be even. I think everything else around us, can get us to win. At least be even. That's what we were. We weren't even with anybody last year.
No,
we were playing we're in that category. We were playing from a deficit.
Yeah.
So we always had to overcome that piece, right? And I think that's the reason why, like, Caleb didn't get a knock. People saw that, hey, listen, we're playing with a depleted offensive line. Our defensive line isn't as great as we would like it to be, because they're letting people get off to the linebackers, and we only have Bear. I was listening to Coach Henney talk, and he's like, Bear's grown immensely. His maturity, leadership, grown immensely. So, I mean, I can appreciate that. Like when you have somebody in the building, not only he didn't have to say that, you know what I mean? He could have said something else. He could have said, yeah, athletic ability. But when you speak to somebody's maturity in the game and how much better they're getting, I'd like to hear leadership first. Love to hear that.
Yeah.
Also love to hear maturity, because what they tell me, not only is it that you're being mature as a growth as a leader, but what you're doing is tells me you understand what's going on the field.
Yeah.
And everybody's role on the field, and you're moving pieces where you, as a player, as a captain, quote unquote, you're moving pieces on that D line. As the head of that D line, he's moving pieces where they need to be.
Yeah.
He's understanding the scheme. I felt like a lot of times, like last year, Bear was just playing just to play, right? He was just there. He was out there. We knew he was the best D lineman we had. And so we put him out there and they say, be a freak athlete, right?
Yeah.
I think now with that leadership and maturity, he's actually growing into the football player. The football IQ is starting to show.
Yeah. And this is also night and day from coaching knowledge and coaching ability,
right?
That he's had, and since he was at Georgia, to be quite honest with you. Also, Amos Talele has been a guy who he was not prompted to talk about him, so we talked about him being a guy who is becoming a quality depth piece for the offensive line. You love to hear that part, because that's where they're a little bit thin there. I know Elijah Page, who he's
a monster. He is a monster. I seen the picture and I was like, what is, like, how do you get, like, huh?
I mean, he's 6'7" now, so it's pretty crazy. I like the physical practices. I think the Midnight Alley video is a great one. But I would also, when we're so close to kickoff, on September 1st, let's just, it's that fine line, right? To being, hey, we're having physical practice and staying healthy, right, coach? Because the last thing you want is to somebody get hurt seriously, as USC did get a scare with Elijah Page as he cramped up. But other people thought there was something else wrong with him as far as that goes.
Right. I mean, that's always a fine line. But I'll be honest, I would push that line, and for our team, right? And I don't, I'm not saying I want anybody to get hurt, but I would rather just go hard, keep pushing, and understand what the dog days mean, because it's a culture change. Yeah. To me, we got to change the culture.
Yeah,
it's a culture change. So I would rather go hard. I'd rather push that line. I think as a fan base, if a key player got hurt, we'd be like, man, well, he got hurt, and that's why we're not where we need to be. But I want the culture change.
Yeah.
I want that. Like, we need that shift on defense, the mindset that we got to have dog work.
Yeah.
Like, that has to be the thing. And if we don't have that, again, Lincoln's job is to be, make sure everybody, we get to the season healthy. But I also feel like we need to push, because I felt like we haven't had that. I feel like we need to push, because we're going to go up against teams that are pushing, that are deep. You know what I mean? And with our limited depth, we're going to have to dig deep down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're going to have to dig deep down and say, okay, guys, listen, it's just all we got.
Yep.
We ain't got nothing else. And I think before we pretending like we had something else and we really didn't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're pretending like we have these other guys and we really don't.
100%.
And we're coaching like we do, and we don't. Like, that was the most mind-boggling thing for me. Yeah. And so when I look at it, I'm like, look, yes, push the envelope a little. No, don't go overboard with it, but push the envelope a little. You know what I mean? Let's see what we got out of these guys. Let's see if they understand the grit and determination what it's gonna take to win in September against a SEC team who is good in the trenches.
Yeah,
they got 2 bookend tackles that are probably gonna be first-round picks. They got Harold Perkins. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they got guys who's gonna probably be a first-round pick. They got guys. They got their coaching staff back. It's a very good defensive staff they brought back in.
Yep.
So we're gonna need that type of mentality going into week 1.
Yeah, that playing with that how do they say it? Playing to the echo of the whistle.
Yeah.
I mean, those kind of plays, they're gonna need that. So I definitely agree with you there. I know, I know that there is a like, hey, worried about injury, but like it's football. It's like people are gonna get hurt. So you gotta live with it. But I do totally understand about that part of what you're saying as far as that is. And USC has to be this is a conference where like even when like they gotta go to I know Minnesota's not expected to be a really good team, but those are games where, like you gotta go at Minnesota in October. Like, what I'm saying? Cross country at Maryland. Like, what I'm saying? Where probably possible weather games. Like, those are things that you got to be able to do. And I think being physical in practice is going to help. It's going to be help that. I think what I think I like about it is like they've tried the other way. They've tried to be slim and slick. You know what I mean? And like try to be like fast and not powerful on defense. Now I think it's better. Let's just try the more. Just try another way, and because your offense is going to score points, like your offense is going to score points. So let's just go. So I think somebody just put out that thing that little graphic where he averaged like 41 points a game his entire career as a head coach. So like the points are going to come. You have to get that defense straightened out, and the defense is just a takeaway defense, a defense that can get things going. And not giving up, big plays. If they just take away the big plays, that alone puts so much pressure on the other opponent, coach. You have to score. You got to score every single time when you face a Lincoln Riley offense.
Absolutely, and like you said, hey, like I tell my defense, my DBs, nothing deep, nothing cheap, right? I'm not trying to get up. We're not trying to give up anything cheap, right? Make them work for it. Everything has to be worked for.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like we have to be in here locked in every moment, every play, so we can get off the field and we give that offense back the ball. Because the more possessions they get, we're good. I think we're good to average a high 40. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Like I'm not worried about that, but we got to give them back the ball. We can't be playing from behind. And the offense this year, we can't play from behind. We're not built that way.
No, we're not. You got to play even. Got to play even or with a lead. So I think every team has maybe that one game where things don't get off to a good start and you have to come back and win. Maybe get wins. But like this is not a game. This is not a game like the Arizona game of last year. They're losing. This team is losing that game. The Utah game, they're losing that game. They're not coming back. Jaden.
Oh man.
So like they gotta be careful with these videos out here. USC social media because they're showing Jaden dropping bombs and threading the needle on some of. You see the play you see the one where looking like was playing like he was a running back, play action fake.
Yeah.
The ball placement on that one.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good. So you've been on this for a little bit. So I think that when the season starts, Slim Shady starts the season. But I mean, like you said, though, I mean, I don't think I think all bets are off if he gets to any kind of like prolonged struggle because he knows he can probably score points with Jaden Maeva.
Yeah, that's been my whole thing. It's been my whole thing. Like this kid, Lincoln brought him in because you have the one thing that Miller Moss doesn't. You got mobility.
Yeah.
He has the mobility. All we need to know is how is he progressing through the offense? Yeah. How is he looking through his athletic ability is there.
Yeah.
How does he understand and can he take control? Those things we need to know. Right? Those things we won't know though until we see it. I would like, and I seen something say, "Oh, we're in a quarterback battle." I said, "Oh, imagine that." You got a guy who's mobile.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's all I'm seeing. Like, Miller Moss understands the offense. He's been in the offense. And I think he's starting because I think Lincoln's rewarding him for
the work. The work,
commitment. He's rewarding him for that. No problem. I have no problem with that because he's not like he's starting as a bum, right? He's not a scrub.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't think this is going to be too long. I
Yeah.
think after Utah State, we can start to see some things.
Yeah. I mean, if they beat LSU, and it depends on like how that looks like too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is it a does he put up 20 points and then we get on offense and then but we get points because they get turnovers and they get short fields, stuff like that. I mean, like I do think that there is some coaches might sprinkle them in both, but I think that I think they do have two guys who can definitely spin it. It would definitely spin it. And I think for Noah Moss, it's about getting the ball out on time, about running the offense, getting the play calls in and the checks and everything like that. So we'll see there. But Jaden is, I put it this way: if somebody texted me today, he was like, if Jaden was in college football 25, I probably would use Jaden over Noah Moss in the game. So
Which surprised me that he wasn't, by the way. It surprised me that he wasn't.
There's a couple of guys who I'm surprised at it. I'm pretty good at it. Pretty good at the game. One thing I noticed about the game that's interesting is that when you see somebody pick a non-top 25 team, you can tell that's their favorite team, and they play with so much heart in those games. I had every time at Virginia Tech just now, and that dude was like, he put out all the stops, dude. You knew that team left and right. That was his favorite team, you could tell.
Right.
So I was dying playing that, but yeah, I just it's what it is. The game was great, but for SC, I was surprised that Rudy wasn't in it, and I was surprised Jacoby. Yeah,
him too.
Jacoby wasn't in. Jesus Lord.
Right.
Oh my God, it'd be over. It'd be over as far as that is. Bruce Robinson. So the question I have about him, and I think we saw that video where Miami threw a bomb to him. Can he be that? Can he moss people in the end zone? Like that's the biggest thing. Yeah. So that's the ball. Those are the plays where I think that he and I'm pretty positive that Jacoby's going to be doing some of that. But if he's going to be the wide receiver and not the tight end, we can be the wide receiver. I really like his ability to be able to do those things because once you get those balls that are those balls that are thrown above the shoulder pads, like he's just in what is he 6'4", 6'5"? I mean he's 6'6". Like you're not
6'6", yeah.
Yeah, I mean you cannot contend with that. The variety of weapons that they have on this offense. You have the speedster, you got the Amon St. Brown prototype and Makai Lemon. So this is what people are gonna be shocked at. I think when they play LSU, they're gonna be like, oh man, wow, these USC receivers, as if USC doesn't have receivers. But before football world is gonna be surprised. I think as far as that goes, but we're really projections here for Deuce because I really think that he's one of those guys who's just that kind of hybrid guy who just can do so many different. You can put him in so many different places on a football field.
Well, Deuce trajectory is depending on how Lincoln decides to use him. I think that Deuce could be a Biletnikoff winner. I think that Deuce could really, because I think that, like you said, he has so many ways you can use him that he can really because remember we used him at a tight end for a little bit and we flexed him out some. He's definitely gonna go get the ball. He's definitely jump balls or his. You can forget it. Like if there's a 50-50 ball in the air, I'm banking on him.
Yeah.
Right. I'm banking on him. So I feel like that with him, I feel like we can, if they use him correctly and he becomes, and not like Zach is going to be our number one, right? We all understand. But Deuce can really, as a number one receiver, Deuce can really be that role. Because I think Zach can almost end up in a Taj Washington where he's just open all the time. The difference is Zach can outrun you when he wants to. Like he's gonna decide to outrun you. I mean, Taj was gonna be open all the time, and then at a certain point he was gonna sit down. Like, okay, y'all got me. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be Zach. Zach's gonna outrun all the time. I think that's one of those things. But I think with Deuce, it's just gonna be, I'm open, and even if I'm not, I am.
Yes.
Trust me to throw the ball, put it up there. You know what I mean? Put it up there, put it above my arm, put it above my head, and I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah,
that's what you have to do. You know what I mean? Put it above my head, and I'm gonna go get it, because there's nobody. I don't think there's a corner in college football that can really jump with him.
No.
At his height.
No, the athletic ability of those above the shoulder balls that he can get, that Jacoby Lane can get. Jacoby Lane is going to be a fan favorite for a long time. That kid is, you can just tell that that kid is fire. That kid is pure fire. Every single time he hits the practice field, and when he hits the real games, you don't really see what he does too as well. So it'll be interesting to see that part of it. Defensively, this one thing about college football drives me crazy, about finding out who's hurt and who's not. They don't tell you, and it's just like, it is what it is. So no major injuries, it seems like, on the squad, period, right now. So
well, did you see that the SEC is going to where they have to report it?
Yeah, and like, I think, what happened there? I think that bettors across the nation who like to bet on college football are sick of betting on a game and then all of a sudden seeing a top player come out in sweats.
Do you know how irritated I was last season when I seen that Zach wasn't playing the Colorado game? Yeah. And not that I believe that we needed him to beat Colorado.
Yeah.
It was just the point.
Yeah.
It was literally the point when I'm getting the update and they're like, oh yeah, Zachariah Branch is still in warm-ups. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. That's good. About that game real quick. I'll say that to come back to that game is the game I really was annoyed with Alice Grinch. Not that like Alice Grinch needs any help annoying anybody, but I did want to talk some trash.
Yeah.
And then it's like 49-0 or whatever the score was. And I'm like, dude, you can't be in the Colorado game. Like, you can't just play like too high safety and just rush for. Like, they're not coming back.
Well, I'm gonna be honest.
Oh my God.
Game, I was more annoyed with Lincoln than I was Grinch. Because Grinch had held his own, and then Lincoln decided, I'm not gonna run the ball anymore. We're getting too much yards on the ground with Marshawn Lloyd, so running the ball is an option. And then now you're putting that defense back on the field. When we were sustaining drives, the defense was playing decent.
Yeah, I do think so. I do think last year, I think part of it is it goes to both of them, but like it does. When you're a head coach, knowing the football team is huge. So when you have that lead, like it's okay to run a low clock.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay, especially when there's games where Lloyd is averaging 7 yards of clip, and he has like 10 carries. Like,
Yeah,
so yeah, I get it. 100% get it. Like, it's okay to walk out that game 49-17 and be okay. Yeah, be okay. And I mean, no question. Yeah, that's true. But like, I'm glad the SEC is doing that. I hope Pac-12. I hope Pac-12. First time this season, Pac-12. I said Pac-12. The Big Ten does that too as well, because it is not. Now that players are getting paid, and I don't know if you saw the Baylor shirts the coaches were wearing, the everyday players. Like, they're getting paid now, so like it's okay to have them let us know who's hurt. I don't care what the injury is, but like, let me know if the kid's gonna play or not.
Yeah, that's all I care about. Yeah. Let me know if he's not playing. That's it. And I think realistically, that's all the bettors want to know.
It's just not. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's it.
That's it. The kicking game seems like it's going to be interesting, because it looks like I just need somebody to unseat Dennis Lynch badly.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a close game with Dennis Lynch. It sounds like some of the guys they brought in are kicking the ball into the end zone. Imagine that. Holy shit.
Right.
Let them go the distance of the field. against you as well. So and now they're going to they've changed it so people are going to get instead of analysts won't be an analyst anymore. They can have they can be a coach, and now and now those guys can get titles and stuff like that. So we'll see if that. I don't think it changes much. I think they're going to do the same jobs, but now they're going to be able to be on the field and talk to players and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's good. I'm glad about the kicking situation. I watched that interview with Lincoln.
yeah.
I was definitely glad to hear that. I mean, something that he paid attention to. You know what I mean? A lot of times, it's not something that you have to say, but because you said it, that lets me know that it's a thing. You know what I mean? As coaches, I know I've been in several interviews, and there's some things I omit, so I don't have to. It's not important. But when I say something, then you know it's important.
Exactly.
I'm choosing to address it, so I think that's awesome. I think that's something that's definitely needed. Again, when you talk about the injury situation, come on, man, we gotta know.
Yeah, we gotta know. We gotta. I mean, I do. I mean, if we're gonna pay I'm a drive from where I live to the Coliseum, and I'm gonna pay for parking, pay for a ticket. Like, dude, like before the game, can I just know that Jacoby Lane's not playing?
Bro, I'd have been so mad because I was supposed to go to that Colorado game.
Oh yeah, I'd have been mad too.
I was supposed to go to that. I would have been so mad if he's not playing.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like y'all could because it matters. I mean, look, these things matter.
Yeah.
We want to see these kids play. We want to see these guys get after it. And he is box office.
Yeah, he is.
So I need to know if Zach ain't playing.
Exactly.
If I plan to go to the big house this year and he ain't playing, it's gonna be we got some answers. It's not gonna be the nice, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna feel some type of way about it.
No question. What is your is there anything you see related before I change the topic?
No. Oh, did you see real quick, did you see Deshaun Foster in the shirt that he wore?
That's funny. Good for him.
Yeah, we're in LA. So you remind people that where you're at.
Yes.
Not in the name.
Yeah,
okay.
But I think it's like, you know what? I think there's times where you screw up and you gotta make fun of yourself.
Yeah.
So I mean, good for him doing that. They're gonna be awful. But this year they're going into the wrong place where they are. I'm not sure if it's a great football job. I think it's a good basketball job. But I'm not sure if it's a good football job. Somebody's gonna have to they have to make a commitment to what they want to do. And I think also too is like them playing in the Rose Bowl is just not a good look in my opinion. Just in my opinion. Like where did the Chargers play before SoFi was built? And that was Soccer Stadium.
Yeah, Soccer Stadium. Yep.
Yeah, so something a little bit bigger than that, but like something to that effect where the fans can be on top of them, on top of them. Like that would fit UCLA. And then when they play like us, or they play like Penn State or play one of those teams, then you can go ahead and play at the Rose Bowl as far as that is. Sanders, Deion.
Oh man.
So here's my point: is you played in the National Football League. You're one of the best players to ever play in the National Football League. One of the best players to play in college football ever. All those things. And as far as that goes, kind of really thin skin as far as what's going on as far as with him goes. I'm like, you're not talking like CBS did this, so you're not talking to CBS. Like all this, I just don't like. This is like this show is just like you put yourself in a position where also too is like if you don't win games next year, like how are you gonna if you can't handle this amount of media stuff? Like what are you gonna do next year if you win 5 games? Like I mean, like this conversation, like what do you like what's the end game of like battling the media in these moments? I don't understand.
So I look at it differently. While I understand your point, I just look at it differently. From a coaching aspect, I feel like he's protecting his players, and the players are going to appreciate that. And I feel like as a contrast to what he did in the media last year when he did not do that.
Yeah,
on several occasions.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
So I feel like at this point, it's an image thing to whereas, again, he's doing something that is conscious, right? Because what did we all talk about last year? He threw his linemen under the bus.
Yeah.
He'll throw his players under the bus. That's not protecting your locker room. I think now, whether we like it or not, he's protecting the locker room. I understand why people will say, hey, it's thin-skinned. I understand why people will say, hey, but the one place you can't lose, the one place he did lose last season was his locker room.
Yeah.
That's the one place I have to protect at all costs. I am the CEO of said locker room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not saying anybody's wrong for saying that he's being thin-skinned. I just look at it from the coach's perspective and saying this dude has to protect his locker room. I'm sure there was some rumblings after last season and how he was taking care of business and how he was talking about kids and this, that, and the other, where he wasn't protecting the locker room.
Yeah.
And you saw it by their play. So what am I doing now? I'm going overboard to protect my locker room, to show the guys, to show other recruits, I'm going to protect my locker room. I don't care who you are. It ain't about my sons, or Trav, my third son. It ain't about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's about everybody. And I'm not going to let anybody just talk bad about us and take shots at us and it's going to go unnoticed or go unchecked. No, I think that was Deion's way of, I'm going to check you. My team's going to see this, going to check you, because everything I do anyway is scrutinized. So my whole team's going to see this and check you.
Yeah.
I mean, or not, they're going to see me check you and understand that I'm protecting them. And that's going to be the thing, right? That's going to be what was more disturbing to me was not that video. Don't see if you've seen the other video of, I think it was his safety and Travis talking in the huddle.
Yeah.
So if you didn't see that one, I'll try to find it and send it to you. What was this? That one video was disturbing to me because what they basically admitted was we're out here BSing, right? Because we're not here because football ain't the end all be all. We're here for the clicks. We're here for the jerseys. That's what one of the players said, addressing his other teammates. He said, y'all letting me slack off. Y'all should hold me accountable.
Yeah.
But y'all not. He said, I'm included. Now, he did include himself, respectable. But what I took from that is none of you guys are really here for football. You're here for clicks.
Yeah.
That, to me, was a more disturbing clip than Deion talking to reporters.
Yeah. It's an interesting situation. When you're not winning, it's just gonna look crazy. It's gonna look crazy. So
right.
It's just gonna look crazy. So first football game of the year looks. I think it's Florida State versus Georgia Tech.
Yep.
9 a.m. On the West Coast. I just know people here on the West Coast, but we can eat breakfast. Watch football. Yeah.
Right.
It's all good, dude. It's all good. Everybody's still asleep Saturday morning.
Yeah.
It's all good. All right, Coach B.
All right, sir.
First time. Don't forget to check out Read on the Yard as well. So check that out as well. And then also they he's on Twitter Spaces a lot too as well. So all right.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Bye on, folks.
Appreciate it. Bye on.